Hey everybody, my name is Lisa. I'm the Crafty Goddess. If this is your first time here, I like to play with charms, beads, yarn, trinkets, that sort of thing. I also like to mess up in the kitchen once in a while. So if that sounds fun to you, please feel free to click like and subscribe. We'd love to have you. And if you're a returning visitor here, hey, welcome back. Good to see you again. Sorry, as you can tell, I'm still a little flustered. Things have been kind of up and down the past few weeks. For those who didn't catch my last video, unfortunately, I had to break some really bad news. My mom had passed away, and my sister and I are we're trying to work through things. Grief is a jerk. I'm going to just be point blank about that. It's not linear. It definitely comes and goes, but my last video got some wonderful comments from you kind folks. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who extended their sympathies and love and prayers and all that fun stuff. I'm just so very, very grateful. It's been quite the process. I'm not going to lie. My husband's been an absolute rock star. Our friends have been wonderful. But both my sister and I have been blessed with some wonderfully caring people in our lives who have brought meals and checked in on us, kidnapped us for coffee dates, all that fun stuff. So, unfortunately, because of my mom's illness and passing, that's also one of the reasons why I haven't been as regular on this channel. Well, I mean, not like I have been really regular anyway, but I really tried to put a concentrated effort into doing more regular videos like this Maker Monday series that I'm trying to do. And, sometimes things happen, sometimes they don't. I get that. I know that we really need to extend ourselves the same grace that we would give people that we love when they're struggling in a time of need. So I'm really trying to do that to myself. So for those of you who have been hanging in there, thank you so much for your patience. I really appreciate it. And again, thanks so much for the support and love. I think I can speak safely for my sister and I when I say that we really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yes, as I mentioned before, this is a very, 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 very overdue episode of Maker Monday. And as you can tell by the thumbnail, I've been delving into crochet market bags lately. 'Tis the season. We're just over the halfway point in June, and it was pretty sweaty up until a few days ago. I'm not going to lie. Here in southwestern Ontario, sometimes the humidity can be pretty disgusting. But, it's the time of year to work with lighter fabrics and whatnot. I remember years ago a friend asking something like, well, what do you knit or crochet in the summer? Like, doesn't it get hot? And I said, well, it depends. First of all, it depends on how much air conditioning you get to be around. We're on the top floor of a 3-story walk-up, like in my apartment, and we don't have air conditioning. Like, I have an air conditioning unit in the living room, which does most of the front of the apartment. We have a window fan in the bedroom that has like the dual fans, one points in, one points out, whatever, to try and circulate the air. Sometimes it works, sometimes we just sweat through it. It's gross. But this time of year, it's more, working with lighter fabrics and yarns. I still play with like worsted weight acrylics, that sort of thing. But as I said, I've been playing a lot with cotton yarns for the specific for the specific purpose. Holy cow, I can't talk today. When can I talk? Anyway, I've been making a lot of market bags. There are 2 online tutorials tutorials here on YouTube that I've been working with the most recently. One of which is called the Crochet Farmers Market Bag by Jules and Jones. I will put a link to their tutorial. It's super easy. It's done all in one piece, and it's really pretty actually. And it's got a scalloped edge too, which you might be able to tell here. The scalloped edging. Come on, get up there. I haven't done a scalloped edging yet with crochet. I know I've been crocheting for how long, and this is my first time doing a scalloped edging, and I always wondered how it was done. And the instructions are pretty simple, so just required a bit of finagling. So for this bag, I used the Bernat Handicrafter cotton in, I believe it's called Flower Print. And I'm going to show you a little something which I noticed last night as I was finishing my second bag, and I thought it was a little weird. I unfortunately don't remember offhand the name of this colorway, but it's a yarn, it's a it's a ball of handicrafted cotton I've had for a while. So a little bit more greenery. The ball itself, the way it's wound, it looked a little like, ugh, but it did up a lot better than I thought it would. So just really nice colorway here. Again, with the scalloped edges. But I'm gonna show you folks something, and maybe you folks who are more experienced in crochet can explain this to me. So I did this bag. I finished this bag. I think it was like last week. It took me like a couple days. Again, like I'm working and doing stuff here and there, so I didn't have a full day to sit down and plow through it. But then I finished this one last night, and there's a bit of a size discrepancy happening here. The only thing, okay, so I used Bernat Handicrafted cotton for both bags. I used a 6mm crochet hook, which is a J hook, or I think it's a US 10. Anyway, so I didn't do anything different. I didn't purposely extend this bag, and I didn't shorten this bag on purpose. The only thing I can think of, there's two possibilities. A, I might have miscounted the number of rows, although when I did the single row of crochet, or single crochet stitches around the perimeter, there weren't any extra stitches or any stitches missing, like it was all the same number. So that's the first possibility, as maybe I might have missed a few rows, but I don't know how. And the second possibility is the tutorial itself. When you're doing the mesh part of the bag, it's chain 5 and then slip stitch to attach chain 5, so right? To do that. For this bag, for the first one I did, I thought it was chain 5 and then single crochet into the previous row, then chain 5, which got the mesh effect. And then I realized that was a stitch pattern for a shawl that I did from Hooked Up by Robin, where she did a shawl pattern that has a really cool like granny cluster edging, but the mesh pattern is like this, where you chain 5 and then single crochet, chain 5. So that's the only thing I can think of, is like maybe the chain 5 single crochet caused a bit more drape than the chain 5 slip stitch. I don't know. I'm kind of grasping at straws, but there's a significant difference here in the size. Like they're both the same width and everything, but just, yeah, like well, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's a little wider. Okay, so it's like wider, but not by much. Like it's just kind of like, but that's the only thing I can think of. If anybody out there has any input on why this might have happened, I'm not mad at it. I'm not upset. I just kind of looked at it and went, it's shorter. How, why? Anyway, maybe I'll just stick with the chain 5 and single crochet. Like the chain 5 and the slip stitch actually looks a lot neater to me than my chain 5 single crochet. My tension also sucks. My sister said, and I mentioned this before, that I crochet like a knitter. I don't throw my yarn the same way. Well, maybe kind of, sort of, but not quite. I mean, my tension is getting better, but it just, anyway, it's one of those things. But yeah, this is the Crochet Farmer's Market bag by Jewels and Jones. I will post a link to that. I also did a couple other bags with a different tutorial. Holy cow. I haven't even had coffee yet today, so please forgive me. This was the Crochet Granny Square Market bag by Crochet Musings. Again, now for this one, I used, again, the Bernat Handicrafted cotton in the floral print. And I did this to the letter, like exactly as the pattern was dictated in the tutorial. I think the tutorial itself, they used I believe it was a 4mm crochet hook and possibly a DK yarn. I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that. I can pin a link to that as well. Now the differences I found, like these were both super easy and amazing to do. The Farmer's Market bag was done all in one piece, where it's like you start at the one end, single crochet 6 rows, do the mesh pattern. When you get to the other side, you gather up, the edge and like do the single crochet for 6 rows. And then you chain 40, I think it is, to do the handles and then go around. Basically, it's just done one thing. Like you don't do one handle, then cut the yarn and then go to the other side and do the other. It's all in one piece, which I liked. This one, it's crocheted all in one piece until you get to the handles. Like the one handle is done in a continuous motion, but then you cut the yarn and have to reattach the yarn on the other side to do the other handle. That's fine, no big deal. Just sew in another end, whatever. I do like the fact that it starts with a granny square, but you have to make sure that the clusters are like an odd number so you can do the specific stitch pattern for that. But I like that it kind of sits almost like a flat bottom, which is kind of cool. And I just realized when I was holding this up, this almost looks like a modified tank top. I've done repurposed shirts and tank tops and whatnot for totes, and it almost looks like this, but it's very cool. So as I said, I did this one with the Bernat Handicrafter cotton. The other one I finished, I used yarn I got from Ice Yarns. This was in the Noble Cotton print. I don't have the number for this offhand, but it's just like, you know, purple, pink, teal, green, whatever. I did this, now because the Noble Cotton print, I think, yeah, I used a 6mm for this. I used I think it was a 5 or 5.5 for this. So again, a little bit of a sizing difference, but the Noble Cotton print is a little smaller. But I did extend the rows. Like I did add a couple extra rows to make it a little bit longer, because I know it's like, this is cute, but it's a little short. But I like my bags to have a bit of depth, so I did add a couple extra rows to this, and it turned out just absolutely gorgeous. I'm finishing up a third one. So yeah, this was the Ice Yarns Noble Cotton print. I'm just finishing up a third one. I don't quite have the handles done yet. I started this. Now, unfortunately, like I said, I work and I get distracted with other projects, and starting to get the gumption together to clean up my apartment again. And, you know, I'm not saying get out of that sad fog or anything like that, because, you know, grief is going to take its time. And, you know, when we're going through something that hard, we really need to be gentle to ourselves. And that's a lesson I'm really trying to teach myself. So I'm being gentle to myself. But I did go on a bit of a house cleaning spree. So, you know, yarn fun had to go on the back burner for a bit. But I started this a while ago, and this is this is also from a Nice Yarn. This was Cakes Cotton Royal. In case anybody wants to know what the color, I do have the numbers for this. I don't have the number for the other one, but this was, where's the number for you? Why don't I not find number? Why no number? Okay, fine, screw it. If I find the number, I'll post it. But this is Cakes Cotton Royal. The Noble Cotton print is a worsted weight, and this is a DK. But again, I'm adding rows to this because I wanted it a bit bigger, and I really like how the Cotton Royal is a self-striping, and the details, like just the color gradation, is really cute. Yeah, I believe this is, yeah, so the suggested needle and hook sizes for this is a 3 to a 4. I used, and it's a, where is it? Yeah, it's a DK weight of 3. I used a 4.5mm needle on this, so it does have a bit more drape. It's not as structured. The yarn isn't as, I don't want to say hard, but it's a lot softer than, say, Bernat Handicrafter, Peaches and Cream, etc. It's very nice. It's very soft. It would be more for like a garment type of thing, but I thought, I had the yarn kicking around at home. It was staring me in the face for I don't know how long. I thought, since I'm experimenting with patterns anyway, I'll just experiment with this and see how it looks. And it's so soft and really pretty and very squishy. Love it. And of course, because they're cotton yarns, you don't want to put those through like a hot wash, like with hot water or whatever. You want to wash in cool water, treat it like a delicates. These I don't even think I'd put in the dryer. I'd probably just let them, you know, lay them flat to dry or whatever. I mean, if you want to put them through the dryer, low settings, tumble dry low, but these I think I would just let them dry as is, like just maybe hang them on my line out in the balcony or something. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. I have been making market bags like a mad woman, crocheting through my grief. I haven't really worked on any other projects lately. I've been getting stuff together for the summer festivals that my sister and I do, like the Ontario Pirate Festival that's coming up at the beginning of August. The Oxford Renaissance Festival that's taking place in Thorndale. That's at the end of August. Usually they try to book for September, but the Thorndale Fairgrounds booked something else for that same weekend. I don't know why. I mean, it's something that's been happening for the past few years. like, anyway, I can't even wrap my head around it. The organizers for the festival must be just chomping at the bit. But anyway, but instead of getting that weekend in September, it's going to be the last weekend of August. So those are the major ones my sister and I will be doing for sure. And because of that, we've been trying to get our stuff together. Sarah's been working on a few things. She hasn't been as motivated, same as myself. And again, fellow makers might be able to relate, whether feeling that, I'm not going to say stagnation, but that halt in process in terms of creativity and making stuff and wanting to make stuff just isn't there right now. I mean, I'm still working on stuff. I'm still making stuff. My mom used to like knit slippers and like dishcloths. She did more dishcloths than anything last few years, but she had specific projects she'd work on. And I feel like I'm kind of continuing that tradition of like working with needlecraft and whatnot, same as my sister. We're sort of continuing that family tradition. So it's been there, but just the drive, the spark is kind of, and I know it's obvious because we've gone through something pretty major, but I'm just wondering if anybody else can relate to that as well. Like, were you ever hit by grief so hard that you just couldn't bring yourself to do something you loved and wanted to do? I'm not going to say is it normal, because normal is a setting on a washing machine, but, is it something to be expected is what I show be asking. But I am trying to do, I'm trying to work on these things. I know that every time my sister and I would make stuff, we'd show our mom, like, look what we did, look at that, still, like, it doesn't matter how old you are, you still want to make your parents proud, you know what I mean? If you have a good relationship with them, of course. So, of course, I'd be showing my mom, like, look what I made, and here's what I made you, and my sister would be doing the same thing. I swear, between the two of us, my mom was, would rarely be cold, because she had so many shawls and shrugs and blankets and you name it. But yeah, if any folks can sound off in the comments section, is a hiccup in the creative process, because of grief, is it to be expected? I've heard it is, so who knows. But anyway, as I mentioned before, I haven't had my coffee yet today. I'm gonna go grab that now. But that's gonna be it for today's video. And next time you meet me, I'll probably have a small mountain of these market bags. The two patterns that I mentioned are so easy. If any of you folks have any recommendations on any other patterns you think that this novice can give a try to, that would be lovely. Please drop them down in the comments below. I think I've found some knitting patterns that I want to try for market bags, but the crochet ones seem to go pretty quick, and I'm very happy with those. So yeah, feel free to drop any suggestions that you would have for a novice crocheter, what patterns you think I should try out. But in the meantime, I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for listening to me blather for a while. As I mentioned before, if you haven't done so already, please go down here and click the like and subscribe buttons. If you like what you saw in this video, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate all the positive feedback. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell as well if you're so inclined. It'll let you know when I put up more videos. And yeah, hopefully we will chat again fairly soon. Stay safe. Keep making cool stuff. Tell your moms you love them. Excuse me. Bless me. If you have a good relationship with your mom anyway, let her know you love her. Or someone in your life who represents motherhood to you. Reach out to them, hug them, tell them you love them and appreciate them. Stay hydrated. Go cook and make something delicious. And please stay safe. Take care of yourselves. And hopefully we'll talk again soon. All right. Bye.